Yeah, the education journey for me was very much a blend, and I got lucky because Gino had paid for a bunch of mentors. I was a cheapskate and drafted off his success by getting educated. But ultimately, I moved to Knoxville, and Gino had gone through two different education companies, and we always say that education times action will equal your results. So the really cool part about it was I was boots on the ground. I was in the market. Gino had got that education. I was the action component of it in the market, and that ultimately led to our results. So for us, it's all about sharing our experience. We can't tell you what to do, but hopefully by sharing our experience, you can learn from that. So Gino had gotten educated. I was in the market. We came together to form a partnership. And over a 5 year period, I would say from 2007 to 2012, I was still working for the pharmaceutical company. And in between my calls, sometimes I would have a half-hour drive, sometimes I would have an hour and a half drive in between the different stops. I've listened to literally thousands of audiobooks in the car, maybe hundreds, maybe not thousands, maybe hundreds, but I listened to so many high level educators sharing their stories, and I think the autobiographies were some of the best ones, like Steve Jobs. I loved Arnold's book, Atlas Shrugged. So many books that made a huge impact on my life that I had Gino educating me because he had the formal real estate education. I was listening to all these autobiographies from business leaders, but then there was the bootstrapping. There was the, hey, we're actually taking action and doing it in the day to day. So you learn that way as well. And the cool thing about it is, as we were learning the multifamily business, we documented what we were doing. We documented our frameworks. Gino mentioned buy right, manage right, and finance right. That is everything for us. That is the framework for our multifamily business. And it's really that simple. I'm going to say it because it's not multifamily is not rocket science. It's buying right, managing right, and financing right. If you have frameworks for those three levels of the business, I think you're going to be in pretty damn good shape. It's worked out well for us.
And Jake, that massive education, you're right. At that point, I was listening to Tony Robbins, Jim Rome, T. Harv Eker, Zig Ziglar. That's all I had on my car. At that time, there were CDs, bro. I was throwing the CDs in the car, and
Same
literally
with me. Same
everywhere
with
I
me.
went, yeah, I was just consuming it. I was just consuming all that positivity, all those positive messages that I'd never heard before. It was so foreign to me, but I'm like, this is really cool. And just listening to Zig Ziglar's drawl and listening to him, and then actually being able to interview his son Tom a couple of years ago, really brought me to tears because I remember driving in the car all those years and listening to Zig's voice and going, man, I want to be like that. I want to be as impactful as Zig. I want to do what Zig is doing. I want to show up to work every day and have a lot of fun. And for me, those were really formative years for myself. I would never want to take those years away. They were a struggle. They were painful. They were hard. They were lonely. But that's what part of the journey is all about that massive education. And then the third one was the massive
Well,
action.
Gino, hang on a second though. The weird thing is this is your new reality. You network with these guys now, and the same guys that you're listening to, you have them on your podcast now. So it's just it's a different reality. And sometimes when you take a step back and realize, wow, with 10 years of real hard work, by educating yourself, by putting in the work, guys, it's like they say, it was when I was going through, I'll use an old pharmaceutical thing, is like, the when people were afraid to speak to like the doctors because they were mean, they're saying, just remember, everyone puts their pants on one leg at a time. We're all equal out here. We all have the same opportunities if we put the work in. We're just trying to show you the framework that allowed us to achieve financial success, and by giving back and sharing it with you, this stuff is not foo-foo woo, whatever you want to say, pie in the sky stuff, but it does take dedication. It does take responsibility on your end to make it happen. So sorry to interrupt you there, Gino.